Hello everybody, this is Rick Mantei, and one of my heroes was Abraham Lincoln. So I've got a few things today that maybe you don't know about. Number one, Abraham Lincoln did attempt to use the prospect of allowing slaves in the South to gain their freedom as a means to encourage peace negotiations and bring about the end of the Civil War. So he was going to compromise and let slavery allowed in the United States for an extended period of time in order to keep the hundreds of thousands of people from dying. It didn't work, but he tried. And so, you can second guess that now and say, well, that means he was for slavery. No, he wasn't. He was trying to do everything as a president to preserve lives, and eventually all slaves would be free, not just right this moment. It'd take a little bit of time. But anyway, that failed, and so there you go on that one. Another one is Lincoln's enshrined in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. I bet nobody knew that. They say when he was a young man, he was one heck of a wrestler. So he got into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. He created the civil service hours before his assassination. How about that? Grave robbers attempted to steal his corpse, but of course they stopped it. John Wilkes Booth's brother saved the life of Lincoln's son. How about that one? Lincoln is the only president to have obtained a patent. Benjamin Franklin isn't the only American political leader who demonstrated an inventive mind. After being aboard a steamship boat that ran aground on low shoals and had to unload its cargo, Lincoln, who loved tinkering with machines, designed a method for keeping vessels afloat while traversing shallow waters through the use of empty metal air chambers attached to their sides. So he got patent number 6,469 in 1849. How about that? He personally test-fired rifles outside the White House. He came under enemy fire on a Civil War battlefield. When Confederate troops attacked Washington, D.C. in July of '64, he visited the front lines at Fort Stevens 2 days of the battle which the Union ultimately won. At one point, gunfire came dangerously close to the president. Legend has it that Colonel Oliver Wendell Holmes, a future Supreme Court justice, barked, "Get down, you fool!" Lincoln ducked down from the fort's edges and left the battlefield unharmed. Lincoln didn't move to Illinois until he was 21. Poisoned milk killed his mother. How about that? Things were very different. Lincoln also never slept in the Lincoln bedroom. How about that? Now, just a little biop about him. In 1832, he lost a job, defeated for state legislator. In 1833, he failed in business. In 35, sweetheart died. In 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. In 1838, he was defeated for speaker. In 1843, he was defeated by nomination for Congress. In 1848, he lost renomination, chose not to run for Congress, aided abiding by the rule of rotation among the Whigs. In 1849, he was rejected for land officer. In 1854, he was defeated for the U.S. Senate. In 1856, he was defeated for nomination for vice president. In 1858, he was again defeated for the U.S. Senate. And finally, in 1860, he was elected president. How about that? He lost all that stuff, and the big prize he wound up getting at. So that's why he's my hero, and I think the world of the guy. So until next time, you guys have a nice day.